There is a reason why John Boyega has been silent, makes no comment, and distances himself from his cousin, Pastor Tobi Adegboyega. When your own family member doesn't support you because you would be cancer to their career, it says something. Now, it's been reported that this guy, Pastor Tobi, is going to be deported back to Nigeria. This title is actually misleading. UK to deport SPAC Nation Pastor Tobi Adegboyega over alleged 1.8 million fraud allegations. So we're going to get to the bottom of this, and we're going to shine a light on the biggest problem the black church has, which is predatory pastors like this. Stay tuned. So for those of you that don't know, my name is TJ. I'm Nigerian and British mixed. I decided to leave the UK and move to Uganda with my partner Medina, which has been one of the biggest challenges of my life. It prompted me to open this channel, talk about things that I see, things that I think about. Being that I'm Nigerian, being that I grew up in the church, being that I went to a predatory church like this of my own accord when I was younger, I have a lot to say about this. So with the allegations Pastor Tobi's facing right now, he's not actually being deported yet. Pastor Tobi Adegboyega, the founder of SPAC Nation, is facing deportation from the UK following a ruling by an immigration tribunal. A tribunal doesn't have the power to actually deport you. This decision stems from allegations of financial mismanagement and fraud associated with his church, which reportedly failed to account for 1.8 million in expenses. Again, there's not been a criminal fraud case brought against him. There's a mismanagement of funds. It's grey area. It's not exactly fraud. So technically, he can say he's not a fraudster right now. The tribunal concluded that Adegboyega, who has lived in the UK unlawfully since overstaying a visitor visa in 2005, does not have legitimate claim to remain based on family life rights under the European Convention of Human Rights, as his relationships were established while he was in the country illegally. So here is the real crux of the matter. He's been in the country illegally for almost 20 years. So right now, he's only at step 2 of a potential 5-step process. Remember, a tribunal only informs the Home Office if he should or shouldn't be deported, and the tribunal can't enforce that deportation. They can't make that deportation happen. The Home Office and the police and all these guys are the ones that have to do that. Of course, he put something on his social media to address all of this. Let's have a look.
Hi, good evening. Oh, let me pause this.
Come on, this flex of, oh, oops, you just caught me in a casual moment, like we ain't buying it. Whatever that remote control that you're holding there is a flex. We all know it's a flex, and you ain't fooling nobody.
I've read a lot today, and I'm doing this because of our fans, our friends, people who are worried. I'm right here at home, no cause for alarm, and naturally I'll dismiss things that has to do with retrogression. Every Nigerian should be proud of me.
Why should every Nigerian be proud of you? You've overstayed your visa for 20 years. Like, if you're in the 19th year of overstaying your visa. That is the reason why Nigerians that have a legitimate reason to come can't come, because of guys like you. You're the poster child. You come to the country representing Nigeria, doing shady church fraud stuff, and you're saying every Nigerian should be proud of you. What? Because you're rich. Like, money isn't the only factor, my friend. It's how you make the money.
Being in the UK, a city that is well known for pulling people down.
Ain't nobody pulling you down. You pull yourself down.
Survived all sorts. So the matter that they are propagating now is the smallest of matter. In Yoruba, they say, "Toba le ni bikon bikon le on darisi abilusi." No.
Abilusi. So just because you want to tell us in Yoruba doesn't make the fact that they've actually set a process to get you deported started.
Oh, they did leave me. But what I'm trying to say is no panic. I love London City. It's my city, and nobody can do anything.
A tribunal can do something, my friend.
Of all the people of color you know here, pastors and leaders,
this ain't a race thing. This ain't a race thing.
Survived everything. Now, let me talk about fraud case. They keep saying this. This is an advanced country. I'm speaking here openly. Yeah. After all these years, have you ever heard someone goes to the parliament and make all sort of complaint? Someone from another race and another color. Nothing came out of it. So those who hate already. What
This is not hate. This is not hate. Because you're rich, I don't lie in bed thinking, oh my goodness, I wish I was like Pastor Toby. I can't believe he's flexing on me with designer clothes and cars. Like, ain't nobody got time for that. We are genuinely concerned. You're giving Nigerians a bad reputation. Just because you may not be caught committing some specific fraud thing doesn't mean that you're not doing something reprehensible. Remember the Tinder swindler? He would get women to put loans in their name and give him the money. That's not technically illegal. He didn't break the law, but it's reprehensible and it leaves those people in a terrible situation. Those are the kinds of moves he was doing in his church. I mean, there's a documentary about it.
In 2018, Toy Marie joined SPAC Nation at a very vulnerable time in her life. Within a few weeks, she found herself confiding in her pastor, basically stating that she was experiencing financial difficulty.
So let's clarify something for a moment. One of the things that Pastor Toby does in his church is he sets up these multiple pastor level situations where people report to a pastor above them as opposed to everyone reporting to him. Like the mafia, when they set up, a hierarchy of people that can talk to the boss, and it goes down the hierarchy, the capos, the generals, or whatever. So Toby has something like that. So this young lady had a pastor, and that pastor would answer to Toby, or a superior that would answer to Toby.
Her pastor, Pastor Jumbo, basically stated that she should take out loans in order to build capital, and then in turn start her own crypto trading business. Together, they decided to take out loans. So she shared all of her personal information and details with Pastor Jumbo. And whilst they were applying for all of these applications, none of them were successful.
All kinds of red flags going on here. So your pastor tells you to take loans to start crypto trading. What kind of unstable nonsense business idea, business plan is that?
At a later date, Pastor Jumbo asked Toy if she could help out with a financial transaction, which essentially would be transferring money from her own account to another person within SPAC Nation, another member, to which she complied. A few days later, she ended up getting emails stating that she had electronically agreed to become the guarantor of 2 separate loans.
Something about agreeing to be a guarantor for £5,000 guarantor. I, in all honesty, didn't actually know what a guarantor was because I'd never had to be one for anyone.
When she confronted Pastor Jumbo, he apologised and assured her that he would help with the loan repayments. She then learnt that multiple loans to the sum of £10,550 had been taken out under her name without her permission.
not one criminal case, not one money case. You should all be proud of me and of the nation family.
Whatever this is, if it's not fraud, we don't like it. We don't like whatever this move is that you do with young girls, getting them to take loans, getting them to be guarantors. This is the stuff we're talking about, Pastor Toby. The stuff that people are reporting. And this is one of many types of nonsense that you're doing.
I felt like I was targeted. I feel like they took advantage of me. I feel like I was deceived, lied to. They knew I trusted them. Toy then decided to send an email to SPAC. A meeting was then held with some of the senior members of SPAC Nation, and they came to the conflict resolution of Pastor Jumbo offering an apology and £550 towards the total of the repayments that needed to be done under her name. But besides that, no other repercussions have actually been given to that particular pastor. When Pastor Jumbo was contacted by the Huffington Post, he stated, "From the allegations, the individual and myself had a previous agreement solely to do with business relation and nothing to do with the church. Everything was communicated and since then has been cleared up."
So that's how they insulate themselves.
These actions that have took place have continued to this day to affect her current credit score.
So this idea that he's some business guy that, provides a service, and you can see the kind of moves that he's doing, creating a multi-level insulated cell groups within an organization that's a charity, which aggressively goes after people that are vulnerable and asks them to donate and set up businesses and loans so they can donate even more. Why wouldn't the Home Office want you to leave the country? And the thing is, he's just a new young generation of this stuff. But this kind of stuff has been going on for years in the church. I used to go to a church that manipulated, that had sex scandals, prosperity preaching. It wasn't fraudulent on this level, but there was shady stuff going on. And you get so deep into these churches that you're not able to see the red flags. You isolate yourself from your friends on the outside. The moment you hear any criticism, you're like, that's the devil. Which is why this sort of pseudo-Christianity stuff is so powerful in scenarios like this. So just to put this into perspective, we are still living in a situation where some charismatic preacher can make people believe ridiculous things and they still don't call him out for it. This right here is Pastor Chris. He is the generation before Pastor Tobi, and he's still going strong, making a lot of money. He has churches all over the world. And I've got a friend that follows this guy. He goes to a branch of church that follows Pastor Chris, who is based in Lagos, and this guy goes to a church here, which lets you know that if Pastor Tobi gets deported, the church will probably still survive. Now, I've been in churches like this, where they touch you and you fall over, and I always wanted to know, is this touch real? Is this thing real? And I was in this church, and I was standing like the way these people are standing, right? And I had my hands up, and I had my eyes closed, and I was praying for my breakthrough, and I was like, man, I'm only going to fall if I feel God push me, if there's some sort of thing, because I couldn't believe that people would fall over like this. And so I had my hands up, and I just felt this amazing power push me over, and I fell down and I couldn't get up. And I kind of opened my eyes and I realized there was a really big guy that had fallen on me and he knocked me over. And I thought that was the Spirit of God, but it wasn't. The only way you can fall over from this thing is if you participate in it yourself. What do I mean participate? I'm talking about nonsense like this, where some martial artist has got some death touch and all of these guys pretend to fall over. It's like a cult. All of these guys have to participate in the illusion. And then the others see it and then they kind of justify it and then they participate. And you have this strange thing where the students pretend collectively to fall over, to participate in this nonsense martial art. Well, that's what I think happens here. These guys aren't falling over. They're so bought into the concept. They're so bought into it. These are normal people, guys. These are people that have jobs. These are people that have families, mothers, fathers, respectable people, and they're just participating in a delusion. I mean, the guy once claimed that 5 billion with a B people tuned into his prayer night. That would mean that out of every 10 people in the world, 6 joined his live stream.
We had an extraordinary participation of over 4 billion people around the world. And then 26th and 27th, Global Day of Prayer. It was amazing. 5.3 billion people all around the world. Just do the maths. What do you have with 20 million ministers of the gospel at 250 in each church or ministry? That's 5 billion people.
And if that wasn't enough, he then claimed later that 7 billion people joined his live stream. I mean, he thinks we're idiots. Yet, these people make them filthy rich. So sadly, I don't think we're seeing the end of Pastor Tobi anytime soon. He may get deported, who knows. But even if he does shut down his whole operation, it won't be long before some other religious touting guy shows up and leads vulnerable people astray. If you've watched the video to this point, I will appreciate it if in the comment section you put the words fake Tobi, just so I know that you're really rocking with this channel. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video. Peace.